What are the key issues that are crucial? I think the first is to link the sustainable development debate with the economic crises in the world. We all know that the problems of the banks and the financial community are bulking very large in the concerns of governments at the moment. And we all know that they're getting tired of austerity as the only recipe, since whether or not that's going to reduce the amount of debt in the world, it is clearly hurting a lot in terms of employment and general social well-being in all countries, and in some very acutely. So there's a big effort to be made by the G20 next week at their meeting to relaunch an economic recovery path. And what we need to do is to make sure that they get the message that in having that at the very same time as Rio, we establish clearly amongst the leaders and with the whole of the world that the only form of recovery that is nowadays possible is one that takes proper account of the pressures on the underlying real economy. We can't grow our way out of trouble by consuming even more resources and making future economic prospects much worse. We can't consume our way out of trouble at the price of creating unstoppable climate change. We need a growth that is a growth in well-being, but not a growth in material consumption, not a growth in destruction of natural resources. So that's the central deal that needs to be done. And the Sustainable Development Agenda needs to be re-established as the master blueprint for the world going forward. So then we need a very clear mandate to the UN and to other bodies concerned to get away from GDP as the measure of all things, as the measure of success in the world. And we need a measure that goes beyond GDP, that measures progress in sustainability indicators, and perhaps a green GDP. And we need corporate reporting to get away just from the financial bottom line, but also be reporting on the impacts that companies are making on the world and their sustainability of their operations. Then, armed with these new measurement tools, we need to set some goals and targets for Sustainable Development Goals. And those are clearly a very central part of the negotiation here. And I think one can say with confidence that they will feature strongly in the outcome now. But they could be truly ambitious, covering not only the needs of the poorest communities to get out of their poverty, to reduce hunger and so on, but also have targets for the developed world to become more resource efficient and make less pressure on the planet. And that's still to fight for. Then winning those ends means winning the means, and we must have some form of agreement about the kinds of measures that will advance those sustainable development goals, like green taxation, like green regulation, like green procurement policies, all these policies that are encaptured in the word the green economy. And there's still a certain amount of misunderstanding about what the green economy means, and a certain amount of fearsomeness among some countries that it's something that they will find awkward and difficult to handle. That's the basic thing that's got to be overcome there. And then we need better governance of the whole process going forward. The Sustainable Development Commission has rather run its course. It's done good work over 20 years, but it has not been a way of mobilising high-level political commitment to the changes that are needed in the world. And there's quite a measure of agreement now that we need a new high-level forum that will assemble heads of government, economics ministers, to continue the drive forward on sustainable development.